All right, we're going to go ahead and get started as it's 2 o'clock as we wait for everybody else to come in. So everybody here knows me, but for those online who may not, I'm Kim Knowles. I'm the head of the Health Ministries Department here at the Auburn SDA Church. And so this was a really eye-opening subject for me to get into. Partly because I kind of knew what I was getting into when I delved into this topic, but I learned a lot more than I thought I would. But before we get into this, I would like to open us in a word of prayer. So if we could go ahead and bow our heads for just a moment. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this time. I thank you for this topic. I thank you for the opportunity to learn better about how to take care of the bodies that you gave us. Just ask that you be with me and you be with those attending, and give me the words that you would have me say. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so what's really in your cleaners? So we live in a toxic world, right? We all know that now, right? So we all carry a toxic load. And a toxic load is defined as the accumulation of toxins and chemicals in our bodies that we ingest from a variety of sources, including environmental, food, water, which we all think of, right? Those are the things that we normally think of when we talk about a toxic load. But our toxic load also comes from personal care products and household products, as well as the things that we use. So we often don't think about the things that we use on our bodies and in our homes that contribute to the toxic load. So God is amazing, right? And he's a wonderful designer. And he created our bodies to filter out the toxins. But now our environment is so overloaded with toxins that our livers can no longer keep up with the amount of toxins that our bodies are being required to filter out. And this is why we are now accumulating what's called a toxic load. So, for the first time ever in history, the future generations are facing a shorter lifespan than previous generations. 35% of all cancers, or most cancers, are caused by environmental toxicity, including exposure to chemicals. For the average home has 12 to 20 toxic chemicals within arm's reach. Anyone want to gather a guess where your most common place you will find those is? Under your kitchen sink. The air inside the average home is often 100 times more toxic than the air outside of the home. And it's simply because of the chemicals that we use to clean our homes. It is unknown how many chronic, debilitating, and deadly diseases are caused by cleaning products. We do know that most of the 5 to 10 million accidental child poisonings every year are caused by cleaning products. Think of Tide Pods. We do know that all the toxins we are exposing ourselves to are contributing to the increase in cancer, autism, neurocognitive disorders, mental health disorders, and autoimmune diseases. The US government has not even conducted the most basic toxicity testing, for about 75% of the 15,000 high volume chemicals in commercial use. 90% of these same chemicals have not been tested for safety around children. That's from How to Survive in a Toxic Planet. There is no law requiring household cleaners to be tested for safety before they hit the market.
That's sad.
Yeah. I guess
Household,
I guess my house is really full of that.
you know, and here's the thing, most of us are, because we think, right? We think that we grew up with these things and we were taught that these were things that we were used to make our homes clean, make our homes safe, right? And so, but have you ever really read the labels on your cleaners? And if you read them, right, one of the things that was really shocking is if you read the bottom of the labels on your cleaners, a lot of them will tell you that you're supposed to wear gloves and goggles when handling this product. And these are the things that we spray on our counters or put on our bodies, right? So household cleaners and pesticides are not required to list their ingredients. They don't have to tell you what's in them.
I don't have no pestis, but anything you can imagine to clean your house with, I got it.
Right, because we all thought that was what we were supposed to do, right?
But you know what I found out? That I had spent all this money on 2 birds, and they died in less than a week. And what I was told, Audrey's boss's daughter, she went to college to be a vet for the thing.
Yep.
And she told Audrey to tell me why my bird was dying was because of my air fresheners.
We'll get to that. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about air fresheners. Some,
That's what I want to hear.
oh, you'll be interested. Trust me. Some cleaners contain items called phenols, right? National Institute of Health lists these as toxic. Possible side effects include shock, delirium, and coma. Low-level long-term exposures to phenols can cause damage to the central nervous system and cause organ damage.
What are these things called?
Phenols, Phenols, and they're found in most or some cleaners.
What's the difference between that and the phenols like you find in olive oil?
It's a good question. I am not sure. I would have to look at,
Smell the same thing.
then I would assume it's probably the same. I would have to look, to be honest. And I will tell you, this, like I said at the beginning, was a very eye-opening experience for me. And I will not, by any stretch of the imagination, claim to be an expert. So I will tell you honestly, if I don't know the answer, I will be happy to look into it. And I will look into that because I am not sure. Phenols and cleaners, and I'm assuming there must be a difference because so phenols are often combined with one or more chemicals that create combinations that cause severe organ damage, neurological damage, and even genetic mutation. So many air fresheners, we were just talking about this, many air fresheners contain ethanol, which the EPA lists as hazardous waste, and the disposal of this chemical is highly regulated. But we spray it in our homes.
Well, I don't spray it. I got like 15 air fresheners that's on my wall. I got about 10 that blows the little air out of it.
But you're still spraying it into the air you breathe, right?
That they said that's what killed my birds.
Well, there you go, right? But you're breathing it.
Are you talking about like scents that you spray?
Yeah.
Oh boy, then I didn't even think about that.
You know, this is what I'm saying. There were a lot of things that Even as I did this research, like I said, it was very eye-opening for me because there were things that I didn't even think about.
I can't get rid of my air fresheners.
Oh, I'm going to tell you ways to do it without. Don't worry. Stay tuned. All right. Since the 1950s, there are more than 80,000 chemicals in commercial use today. And out of all of those, there are only 5 types that are regulated. PCBs, halogenated chlorofluoroalkylanes, dioxins, asbestos, and hexavalent chromium. There are about 1,000 new synthetic chemicals added to the list every year. It is estimated that only 7% of these 70,000 chemicals have been tested for safe exposure levels in adults and only 3% in children. The EPA only monitors 8 inorganic chemicals and 10 organic chemicals, leaving an estimated 30,000 possible hazardous pollutants without any kind of regulation. None of these chemicals, because of the lack of testing and regulation, none of these chemicals or chemical combinations can be linked to chronic exposure because they haven't been tested.
Maybe that's why I
And
can't
because
breathe as much.
And because of the lack of testing and regulation, chronic exposure can't be traced back or linked to one specific product or one specific type of exposure. So there's no liability either. A 2002 report from the EPA states that 4.79 billion of toxins were released into the atmosphere. 4.79 billion pounds. Billion with a B.
Wow.
72 million pounds of that were known carcinogens. Most of these are from industrial manufacturing. The EPA also stated that 4.3 pounds of toxic substance are legally dumped into the environment in the US alone. Most of our cleaning products are made from petrochemicals, which are derived from oil or for a derivative of oil. The refining of these chemicals releases 492 million pounds of hazardous and volatile toxic air pollution into the air and water every year. Industrial nations make up 1/5 of the nation's population. 1/5. Yet half of the world's cancers occur in these nations.
But I have a well. Does that mean the water still?
It can be depending on what's around you and what you're putting back into your soil. We'll get there. So think about this. Breast cancer in the United States is 30 times higher than in Africa. Africa doesn't have clean water, right? They struggle to have clean water, but they have less breast cancer.
Huh. Well, they don't have all these industrial places that you're talking about. They don't produce a lot of things.
They don't put a lot of chemicals either.
Right, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Right, they don't have all that because they don't have all those companies. Yeah.
This was a very shocking one for me. Infertility rates have increased 20% in the last 10 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's terrible.
Want to know why? Carcinogens are bioaccumulative. That means they store in your body. So after you've had an exposure for like 20 years, it manifests as a cancer. They store up in your body, right? So, and then we think we're safe because we buy something labeled non-toxic, right?
And then it's not.
The only requirement for using the term non-toxic is that it's less toxic than other chemicals.
Wow.
And only 50% of the test subjects have to die to be labeled non-toxic.
That even,
Sheets. We're going to talk about sheets. Oh, yes. And don't be fooled by the word natural on the label. Natural isn't regulated either. Only part of the product has to be natural to earn this label. So, the 10 most common toxins that you are exposed to. PCPs, persistent organic pollutants. PCBs are considered probable carcinogens. They were unregulated until the late 1970s. Prior to that, they were used in coolants, plasticizers, pesticides, paints, flame retardants. They now are restricted to enclosed uses in transformers, capacitors, and hydraulic fluids. They are still prevalent in the environment, especially in air pollution. Pesticides are not only sprayed on our food, but they are in our soil and in our water, depending on where you live and what your soil, have your soil tested. And they are even more prevalent than you realize. They can cause a myriad of side effects from cancer to birth defects and more. Mold and fungi toxins found in homes, offices, many enclosed environments. Exposure leads to anything from minor headaches, asthma, allergies, as well as serious issues, even death. Phthalates. These are estrogen mimickers. So these cause reproductive mutations, developmental issues, organ damage, cancer. Over 1 million pounds of these are produced every year. They are prevalent in industrial compounds such as plastic softeners, plastic wraps, plastic storage containers, hairspray, perfume,
I told you I busted.
cosmetics,
Oh, yeah.
toys. Here's one, shower curtains,
Oh, yeah.
wood finishers, lubricants, and more.
How about if you don't have plastic and you just have the cloth shower curtain?
That's probably safer.
Fabric ones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Honey,
We'll talk about why the plastic ones aren't safe. VOCs are volatile organic compounds. They're a group of chemicals that have a range of toxicity. Some are even odorless. Some examples include acetone, ethylene glycol, formaldehyde, toluene, and xylene. Health effects vary according to exposure levels. They range from eye, ear, and throat irritation, headaches, increased asthma, to symptoms to liver, kidney, central nervous system damage, and cancer. They come from water, carpets, paints, deodorants, cleaning fluids, cosmetics, perfumes, dry cleaning, air fresheners, fabrics, formaldehyde in sheets, and many common everyday products. The most shocking source of VOCs, your shower curtain. That new plastic smell you get when you open a shower curtain, that's built up chemicals leaching into the air you breathe.
I don't either. I'm full from it.
Yep. Dioxin. She's like, whoo, there's one I don't have, right?
Let's go.
All right, number 6, dioxins. These are some of the most toxic chemicals known. They are carcinogenic and can cause severe reproductive problems such as endometriosis and infertility.
Can I ask you a question real quick? My son is a truck driver.
Yep.
He's never smoked in his life. He's never drank in his life. And he has liver.
Hmm.
And do you think that could come from the, like when the truck starts up, how about, well,
The exhaust fumes.
Yeah.
Like him breathing in.
When he told me he had a liver that's going bad, they take him every 6 months, and it's been okay.
I mean, anything is, obviously possible. He'd have to, find somebody who'd be willing to somebody who does more of a holistic view to
I'm gonna have to
test.
I'm gonna have to tell you about that.
Yeah. So dioxins also cause diabetes, neurological disabilities, ADD, and birth defects. They can cause liver damage and immune suppression. The EPA states that there are no safe levels of exposure.
I don't know about the diabetes now.
What's dioxin? So
So they are byproducts of chlorine in industrial use. So in the home, they're produced by steam from the shower, if you have the plastic shower curtains, right? Dishwasher, when you open that dishwasher and you get the steam in your face, don't do that. Here's a big one for some of us. Bleached paper products, such as coffee filters, paper towels, tampons, etc. They are also released from plastics when they are heated. Please don't reheat plastics. They include 75 chemicals technically known as chlorinated dibenzodioxins. Okay, everybody go to unbleached paper towels and unbleached coffee filters, okay? Or get the permanent coffee filters if you drink coffee, okay? All right, asbestos, thankfully, not as prevalent as it was once upon a time, is carcinogenic, causes lung and respiratory issues. Heavy metals, including mercury and lead, they're pervasive in our environment and in our foods. Aluminum is not considered a heavy metal, but it is also abundant and toxic at high levels. Do not use aluminum in your oven.
yeah, you shouldn't be using aluminum to cook with at all.
Correct. It leaches. Mercury, what?
That's what they advertise.
I know. This is what I'm saying.
That's why people buy it.
Exactly.
I buy it because I only have one on.
Unbleached parchment paper is actually what's safer. Unbleached parchment paper. Mercury in any level is considered toxic. It can cause central nerve damage, tremors, motor nerve function, and even low levels. Everyone's heard about mercury in the dental amalgams, right? There's been a big move that if you have the mercury in your teeth, get it out, right?
But that's the thing. When I had my removed, I asked them to do it a safe way because I researched that. They don't. So when they're cleaning and removing that, I got exposed. I still have one in my mouth, and I said, "You're not taking it out because you're not doing it in a safe way." Oh, well, we got this. No, I said, "You're not doing it. You're a traditional dentist," and they wouldn't hear me. And of course, I was difficult. That was what they said. I was difficult, and I said, "You're not taking it out because right now I don't have any pain in there." And I said, "You're not taking it out safely." And there's a certain way you should do that because of mercury exposure, right? And you're breaking it down, and it's just right there, your mouth and your nose.
Right,
I'm
right.
breathing all this in.
Don't worry about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
See me after. I have a couple people to point you towards,
Well, I still don't want to have it removed.
if you ever need to.
Yeah,
Um,
I was
Pauline
I have
Nichols.
one left. Jesus is coming back.
Amen. Right? I'm with you there. There's still,
You're going with your mercury.
right. We won't have to worry about it.
Because all the others, I have cracks in the new composite, and they too are not very good. They are plastic they're putting in our mouth. So
Oh, see, that's a little better. See, I had mine taken out and just did a full set of dentures.
These are all my real teeth. But-
However, they are still using over 72 tons of mercury in dental work every year. 72
What?
tons. 72 tons.
Yeah.
Yep. So the Dental Amalgam of Mercury Syndrome Group had evaluated over 1,000 peer-reviewed and government studies that show that mercury is either the principal cause or a major contributing factor in over 40 chronic health conditions, including Alzheimer's and low thyroid function. And that's from Essential Cleaning Magazine, Volume 1, Mercury Rising. We are not going to spend a lot of time on this one, but we will mention it. There is ongoing controversy about the use of thimerosal, a mercury compound in vaccines. I'm going to leave that one there. EPA states that all forms of mercury are toxic. This preservative is used in some vaccines. There is a movie, if you've never seen it, I strongly suggest you watch it. Vaxxed, VAXXED. Make your own decisions. That has always been my point on any controversial subject.
Because it's not just that. There's
Exactly.
other metals in vaccination.
In my opinion, on anything, do not take my word for it. Do not take someone else's word for it. Please. I will give you the resources I use to do the research for this. Do your own research. That is the most important thing. Do your own research. Make your own informed decisions, okay? Latest research has found mercury in high fructose corn syrup. That was one that was interesting. Canned sodas and farm-raised fish. Chloroform is listed by the EPA as hazardous waste. It's a recognized known carcinogenic, and it is teratogenic, which means it's able to disturb the growth or development of an embryo or fetus. It is VOC from gassed off chlorine steam. It's used in laboratories for dilution and extraction, in pesticides and in pharmaceuticals and in building materials. OSHA states it shouldn't be disposed of in sinks or in general trash. It is ranked in the top 10% of the most hazardous compounds to ecosystems and human health. Chlorine is toxic to all living cells. Birth defects increase in areas where tap water is heavily disinfected with chlorine. The chemical loaded VOCs in homes today are often greater than the air outside of the homes. We talked about that because of the amount of off-gassing that remains trapped in the air inside and recycled throughout the home. Open your windows. The air inside your home may be up to 100 times more toxic than the air outside. Or filter the air in your home. VOCs are airborne chemicals that leach into the air from a variety of sources. Here we go. Ready, guys? All right. All types of cleaners, including kitchen, bath, floor, window, and countertop. Soaps, hairspray, shampoo, perfumes, air fresheners, plastics, carpets, furniture, fabrics, cleaning products, chlorine, fragrances from hair care products, makeup, pesticides, chlorine steam in the shower and dishwasher, paints, permanent markers, mattresses, dry cleaned clothing.
But what are you supposed to sleep on and sit on though?
There are ways to buy a mattress that does not have VOCs. They are more expensive. And there are ways to cover them. And again, as I will say at the end of this, you don't change everything at once, right? Pick one room, one product at a time. It is absolutely impossible to do everything at once, right? It's ridiculous to think. You change one thing in your home, that's one step towards a healthier you, right? It's information for you to make educated decisions or better choices going forward, right? It is not for you to go home and throw out everything in your house. Okay?
Well,
I can't afford to go home and throw everything out in my house. Okay?
Especially my dad, I just give all my money back.
I don't have a mattress, so I have one of those airbed things. So, but I'm sure there are things that are not good about that too. So,
No, remember bed, just that.
yeah, that's what I have, one of those number beds. So that's not a regular mattress.
Okay. Thank you, Lord, thank you.
All right. So we talked about VOCs and they cause, birth side effects from allergies to birth defects to infertility. All right.
And you got a little one. Yeah.
Just don't give her permanent markers.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Don't you remember when you were a kid, we all used to smell them, right? Oh my gosh.
One of my permanent markers though, they she wrote on my walls and it's not coming off.
Lemon oil, essential oil.
Oh, no, this is their wood.
Oh yeah, no, not that.
I
Yeah.
said, I'm just gonna leave it, it's a little mark, but.
Oh,
You ain't getting them anymore. But yeah, but I wonder about those baby, the markers that she uses, the children's markers, like, the, waterproof ones. Yeah, not waterproof.
Oh, the waterless ones?
Washable markers. I'm
Do they
like,
have a smell?
No, there's no smell to them, but.
No, they're probably safe then. We'll get into the idea of smell. Well, yeah, we talked about what non-toxic is, right? Okay. Olfactory fatigue. Okay, so if it smells clean, it is probably toxic. Clean has no smell.
Oh, I love my bathroom.
Okay, so this
Oh,
this was the hardest piece for me, right?
That's gonna be hard for me now.
Because I was a big one in the candle and the carpet, you'd like your house to smell clean when you walked into it, right? You always, we all grew up with the Pine Sol commercial, right? Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And I love my bleach.
Oh, honey, no. No. All right. So, chlorine, bad. All right. Most people are unaware of the amount of chemical onslaught that they are facing in their homes because of olfactory fatigue. Olfactory fatigue occurs when the nose has been exposed to a certain smell for so long that the sensory response is limited or no longer happens. So let me ask you this. Those of you, I'm going to pick on you. I'm going to pick, just because I know you do this because I've done this too. You put a new Scentsy in, right?
Yeah.
After so many days, it stops smelling, right?
Right.
It's not because there's no more scents in the Scentsy. It's because your nose no longer picks it up.
Right.
Your nose no longer picks it up because you're experiencing olfactory fatigue, right?
Yeah.
And this is why. Most fragrances in your cleaners and personal care products are derived from petroleum. And they contain very toxic solvents, preservatives, and harmful compounds. These fragrances are added to carriers that either coat the membranes of your nasal passages with an oily film to inhibit the sense of smell, or chemicals that numb the nerves to stop the sense of smell. Isn't that interesting? Some of the problems with long-term exposure to these kinds of carcinogenic VOCs, and I'm just going to pick on the two of you for a minute, just because I know you both have these. And because you both admitted it, so that's why I can pick on them. Increased asthma, headaches, and slow destruction of the olfactory system. Some of them are having some issues with allergies and runny noses of late. These chemicals are destructive to the brain and the nervous system and have been found to contribute to behavior problems and long-term neurological problems.
I guess that's why I'm using my oxygen so much now.
Just saying. The average person is so saturated with olfactory overload that they don't even realize how often they are having reactions to toxic overload. Many chronic headaches, allergies, asthma, sinus infections, colds, ear infections, and digestive orders can be traced back to constant exposure to synthetic fragrances. Secondhand fragrance is now being called the new secondhand smoke.
That's why they ask you when you go get a breast mammogram, you're not supposed to use deodorants or
Right.
perfumes because
Yeah.
it's disruptive to the x-rays and so
Oh,
forth.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it can manifest.
Thousands of chemicals are hidden in the word fragrance alone, and they don't have to list them. They just put fragrance.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're not required to tell you what's in it.
And there's so many ways you can make your own without having to have all that stuff.
And think about it. Look at the containers in your home, right? The things you clean with, the things you wash your body with, the things you wash your counters with, right? Just about every single one of them has the word fragrance on it.
But when I wash my clothes, I use those little square pieces of paper like those.
Oh, yeah.
Is that good?
Depends. I'd have to look at the ingredients. Monica, you have a thought?
Native body wash, is it safe?
I'd have to look at the ingredients, honey. Put it this way, if there's anything in the ingredient list that you can't pronounce, you don't want to use it.
Yeah.
Or-
Native is like 99% natural or something.
There's an app that me and Jasmine have.
Oh, yes, I'm going to get into that. There are a couple of different apps.
It's called, it's called Yuka, and you
Yeah.
just like,
One she's got, but yeah.
yeah, and you just like take like a product that you have in your house and you scan it, and on the app it tells you like what products are in there, and it like rates it out of 100. So
Yeah.
it goes from like low to bad,
And sometimes
to
it will
like
also
really
give
good
you
or
other
good.
alternatives.
And it's free to download, like it's free to use it. You can just scan stuff.
So it's YUKA, that's one. There's also EWG.org, and they just came out with an app, and they'll list like safe products and unhealthy products and things like
it
that.
does tell you, like each one will tell you like it is a carcinogen, or
Yeah.
it can cause like reproductive, like.
So moving on. Safety testing by the manufacturer is not required for even the most toxic chemical cleansers, right? Nope, back one. Most household cleansers have not been tested for carcinogenic qualities, toxic exposure levels, or long-term exposures. Air fresheners and odor removers don't actually clean the air. They just cover up the smell with fragrances, or they use nerve deadening agents to interfere with your sense of smell. Often solvents are used that simply coat the nasal passages with an oily film. So there was a study at Bristol University in England. In homes where these products were used frequently, mothers suffered from 25% more headaches and 19% more depression. Infants under 6 months of age had 30% more ear infections and a 22% higher incident of diarrhea. Many disinfectants contain phenols, which are caustic. They are used to cover smell and are very poisonous. NIH states that phenols are toxic and the possibility of serious side effects include death even at low exposure. Other side effects are shock, delirium, and coma. They are toxic to the entire body, and chronic low-level exposure can affect the central nervous system, circulatory system, and can cause organ damage. When compounded with other chemicals, they cause respiratory issues, problems with the circulatory system, cardiac issues, pneumonia, and major organ damage. When chemicals are compounded, they become some of the most toxic. Disinfectants and microbials, right? We all want to talk about, I don't want to bring back the bad memories, but let's all talk about COVID, right? Triclosan, right? Wasn't that like the big thing? You had to get the soap, right? The antibacterial soap, because we wanted to wash our hands, right? And I'm not against hand washing, don't get me wrong, right? Okay. They typically contain triclosan, most common ingredients in your antibacterial soap. It's been linked to liver toxicity and impaired thyroid function. When mixed with chlorine, it produces chlorinated dioxins and chloroform, which are both carcinogens. When triclosan is exposed to sunlight, it converts to dioxins. Triclosan is also found in toothpaste, deodorants, lotions, hand soaps, children's toys, and hot tubs. When it finds its ways into our waterways, it causes mutations in aquatic life, such as frogs and salamanders, and it's highly toxic to algae. Yet these are the ingredients we spray, wipe, and put on our bodies every day in our homes, and consider ourselves and our homes clean. Vinyl plastics release vinyl chloride, which is a carcinogen, causes birth defects, genetic damage, deafness, and dysfunction to the liver. Vinyl plastic products are used for packaging, for toiletries, cosmetic, household chemicals, and more. All plastic commonly used for food packaging can leach hormone disruptors called xenoestrogens. These compounds mimic estrogen and can trigger infertility, reproductive disorders, early puberty, increased cancer risks, cause metabolic issues, and developmental abnormalities. So what now? We are not left without options. Okay, I know that it's a little depressing with everything that we've just thrown at you, right? There is hope. It is so easy these days to make your own cleaners. And the second class that we'll be doing on the 28th will actually be presenting you guys with recipes to replace every cleaner in your home. Shampoo, conditioner, dishwasher cleaner, laundry detergent, the whole works, with things that you can make at your home that are probably cheaper than what you are buying on the shelf, that are safe. Okay? And again, it is not go home and throw everything out in your house. Start slow. Okay? EWG.org, which we talked about, environmental working out, allows you to see how a product is rated for safety and toxicity. Yuka, which is YUKA, is the one that Jasmine and Yvette were talking about, where you scan a product, it'll rate it out of 100 on whether it is good or bad. It'll tell you what's good, what's bad about it, and
recommend like other products to use.
yeah, give you other options that are actually better for you if there are options available. So there are resources out there. In general, if you look at the ingredients of a product that you're going to put in your body or on your body and you can't pronounce it, don't use it. Simple steps that you can start to do. Replace your plastic containers with glass. Replace aluminum foil with unbleached parchment paper. Use an air fryer instead of a microwave to reheat food. Replace Teflon and non-stick cookware, which has been linked to cancer, with cast iron, carbon steel, or stainless steel. Start with one room at a time. Replace one product at a time. No need to throw everything out. Essential oils, my favorite, allow you to swap out a lot of toxic products in a simple and cost-effective way. Seriously, little goes a long way. Drink lots of filtered water. The more filtered water you drink, the more toxins you flush out of your body. Bonus points if you add safe essential oils such as lemon, which help filter out toxins in your body. Load up on plants in your home. Plants will filter out VOCs in your home. So, yes, plants, are God's natural filters, right? These are simple things, right? And then in our next class, we will go over things that you can do, simple ways to take this and do positive. It is possible to do. It really, truly is. We have about 15 minutes left. Comments, questions? I can wrap it up. Monica.
Native is supposedly, well, it's almost all natural.
And it may very well be. Honestly, like I said, I don't claim to be an expert on certain products by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't know. I've heard good things about native, but I haven't actually personally researched it myself. So I would hate to endorse or condemn one product over another without having personal.
Yeah, I want to make sure it's.
Again, if you can, if you can read the label and pronounce the ingredients, then by all means, I would say it's safe. I mean, that's generally the idea, right? Less is more, and a general standard of thing. For those of us who like candles and scentsies, it is super easy to make them at home on your own.
I'm not too interested in candles. I got a whole bunch of candles.
Yeah.
The first time I use it is if my lights go out. Because I come to sit back in the woods a little bit, just me and my neighbor. And if the wind blows really hard.
Yeah, I'm a huge candle person. My daughter-in-law makes them, and so I often get them from her. I do have molds and waxes and oils and stuff to make my own. Just haven't had much time to do it. And I mean, that's kind of part of it too. You have to make a commitment, right? You have to be willing to do it. So it's all about priorities. Like,
my son has bought me a lot of candles. My grandson.
and then buy them from somebody who's hand making them, right? Because if somebody is hand making them, chances are they're using essential oils for the fragrance, right? So if you're buying from somebody local,
If you go overseas, I think they make them.
generally stuff overseas, believe it or not, is much healthier than stuff in the United States.
Because I got a lot when he was overseas that I got my candles. He always brings me back a candle.
If you look at stuff in Europe versus stuff here in the United States, they use a lot less dyes. They use a lot less preservatives. Same product, same company, but they don't put dyes and they don't put preservatives in the products they use in Europe, in the European Union or whatever, but they do here in the United States because they're allowed to. And the autism rates are so much lower than over here in the United States.
Because they also have laws on all that stuff too than we do. So that's why.
Yep. Yep. So it's just choices and priorities. If you prioritize your health, and God tells us to, right? Your body is a temple. So start, and I'm by no means perfect.
Like I said, everything you did there, I'm busted.
And so that gives you an opportunity to change one thing, right? It's not meant to send you home going, oh my, right? Change one thing, do one thing, right? It's not meant to overwhelm you. It's meant to educate you, to give you an opportunity to go, okay, so there are things I need to change. What's one thing that I can change, right? Maybe the next time I go to the store, I don't buy aluminum foil, I buy parchment paper. Or the next time I go to the store, I don't buy the plastic container, I buy glass, right? Little simple things that you can do as you build up, right? That's all.
I'm gonna start with buying glass.
There you go. And now you can, buy them a lot more inexpensive than they used to be, right? Used to be you could only get Pyrex, and that was really expensive, right? Now you can get them a lot more inexpensively in a lot different places. Closing thoughts. Anyone? All right. I'm going to close us in prayer, and then we will dismiss. All right? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together. It's been a lot of information, and we know it can be discouraging and overwhelming, Lord, but we just ask that you would point us in the direction that you would have us go, that you would give us that one thing that we could work towards, that you would have us change to set us on the right path towards honoring our bodies as the temples that you want us to have. We just ask that you would give us traveling mercies, that you would bring us back on the 28th for the second half, and that we would go forward and share this information with our loved ones. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, guys.
Right, so thank you.
You're welcome.
As someone who's in chemistry.